Hello there, Hossam. Andrew here once again. Let's get started straight away, shall we? So this question, is traditional education doing more harm than good? Are there any alternatives? So I would expect you to cover all of that in the intro. I would expect you to discuss in one paragraph how traditional schooling either harmed or benefits students, and also then to suggest some alternatives. So here you have covered the idea briefly that traditional learning is less beneficial. And you have also, I believe, discussed here how it's essentially not as effective as online learning, but in order to be more precise and respond to the task exactly, we need a full paragraph that discusses that traditional schooling is either doing harm or doing good. It depends which side you're on. So you're saying here that it's hurting people's job prospects, that people who are homeschooled or online schooled are more skilled than those who undergo traditional education. So this lacks a real-world example. So each paragraph, as we know, must be supported by a real-world example. This one does have a real-world example in the form of statistics, but we need one here as well. But let's move through and see what we can do. So schools are becoming old-fashioned. It should be. Unattractive, I don't understand how that's related to the question. I think we should stay away from unnecessary extra information. Inefficient, things can be inefficient at things, but then we must use the gerund. Inefficient at developing children's talents. Teachers, scientists, and university professors, we don't need the Oxford comma, have publicly requested major educational changes. In this essay, I will discuss how online learning can provide a substantial alternative. I don't think substantial is quite right. We could say a more effective alternative, and how traditional learning is less beneficial to young learners to serve the purposes of getting the right job. So we could change this to harming the career prospects of young learners, or harming young learners' career prospects. This is a good collocation to use, appropriate, and also we introduce this idea that traditional education is doing harm, which is specifically requested by the question. So I've started to not like these. These first and second, they're just not necessary. So I would say, okay, online learning is considerably more flexible and less costly than typical class-based schools. Class-based should be hyphenated. Flexibility comes in the form of ease of access. Here's a good opportunity to use whereby students can access their materials anytime from anywhere as long as they have an internet connection. Good. Cost-wise, also if you want to use wise in this fashion, it should be hyphenated. Cost-wise, they save transportation and book fees. And we don't need this comma, as they study at home and utilise electronic books. Let's use British English spellings. Remote learning, therefore, represents a convenient, inexpensive, and even modern way. Let's actually change this. A modern way of life, it's a bit too general. We could say a thoroughly modern method of education. So more flexible and less costly is essentially the core idea. If we just use for instance here, then it makes this stand out as a real-world example. And then that paragraph is much better. So although traditional learning provides the necessary science for survival at life, I don't think it does. It is rapidly losing its power. This needs to be more precise. So it feels like this is just a little bit loose. What do you mean by this? Are you talking about interpersonal skills and social skills? Or are you talking about the fact that traditional schooling features much more discipline? So this is grammatically correct, but as a topic sentence for this paragraph, I feel it's somewhat lacking. It needs to be, if you're going to say, although traditional learning provides, we need a really specific thing here. What is the benefit? What is a necessary science for survival at life? Because this doesn't really bring anything to mind. And it is rapidly losing its power. What does that mean as well? What's happening? So this is due to the fact that its curricula is the plural, were developed in the it would be better to say in the era of the Industrial Revolution. I think we should conjoin these two. So this is due to the fact that its curricula were developed in the era of the Industrial Revolution and have since become outdated. As modern societies require graduates to acquire a considerable amount of technological skills in order to have a higher chance, we have a higher chance of something. So of being hired, I would say. To illustrate, statistics in the United States, from the United States, we don't need all of these, UK and even India, like that. Statistics from the United States, UK and even India show that students who attend schools are less skillful. It would be better to say skilled. And we don't need this article, than online learners. We don't need that. In the field of software engineering and Internet of Things, there are two fields, plural, which are I wouldn't use significantly there. I would just say which are booming in the labour market. We could even say which are currently booming in the labour market. To sum up, e-learning, we pave the way. E-learning paves the way for people to excel at more skills and areas of human experience. Don't need that, compared to traditional educational institutes. In addition, schools' role, we should say a school's role, like that. A school's role Okay, so a school's role in teaching, if we're talking about a school playing a part in a wider thing, a school's role in teaching is dramatically fading away, we don't need this comma either, as a result of its impacts that outweigh its advantages. I would say here what we need to talk about as a result of its increasing obsolescence. So this way, so you know, that when something is obsolete, it means it is no longer required. It is redundant. So obsolescence. Obsolescence means that, yeah, so it has become redundant. Increasing obsolescence. Good word for you to use there. Now we have a fully rounded question. Answer even. So let's move on to your complaint letter. So, I'm writing this letter to complain about the service provided at your restaurant last Thursday, 24th of September at 6 p.m. I believe that there was considerable negligence from your new staff. I think we should conjoin these. So, as I believe that there was considerable negligence from your new staff, I ordered a set menu lunch that had a soup, 2 main dishes, and a dessert. The main course was served 35 minutes later than the soup. In addition, it was extremely cold and looked burnt. I would say, not on the event. It sounds like a programming language. Upon receipt of my meal, I requested to see the on-duty supervisor, who took 25 minutes to approach my table. This is not formal. And acted as if nothing had happened. That one's gone as well. Took 25 minutes to approach my table and acted as if nothing had happened. Actually, let's say simply. And simply acted as if nothing had happened. This gives the impression that he was just like super cool about it. What are you even complaining about? I would like to show my sincere surprise at such an act. Oh, and also, as my family and I, formal, used to enjoy your place for more than a year, I would change this to something like frequently enjoyed your place for more than a year. That's fine. Moreover, I would like you to return the full amount of my meal price, including the service charge and taxes. Please credit it to my bank account. This. Regards, Hossam. Good. So what did you get in terms of words there? Just about. We're good. So take care to make sure that your writing remains formal. Whenever you refer to yourself and other people, you put them first. So my family and I, my friends and I, Alex and I, the dog and I. It's always and I in a formal setting. And you may notice that I've used conjunctive words such as to join sentences together rather than have two separate short sentences. I've only done this if they were sufficiently related so that they felt as if they should be joined. So I'm going to send you 2 more essays that you can do for free, just because we really want you to pass the exam. So I look forward to receiving those from you soon. But until then, Hossam, have a great day and goodbye for now.